Hey everybody, it's your girl Nell, and welcome to Simply Nell's Tiny Studio. Welcome to another episode of Simply Nell's Tiny Studio. I am in my boudoir and I am relaxing today. Um, it's Tuesday, so I had a lot of deadlines that were due by noon today. So I've taken care of all of that and hopped right back into the bed because it's been kind of cold. And here in the Tampa Bay area, last night it got down to about 40 degrees. So I have my little heater on right here. I'm in the bed and I'm getting ready to answer some emails and do some things that, I like to do when I'm getting cozy in the bed. But I'm not in the tiny studio, so I apologize for that. I'm still recuperating. If you haven't been following, I'm still recuperating from a fall that I had maybe about 2.5 weeks ago. And I'm getting better. I'm getting better. Today, my spirits are a little low, and I'm guessing the reason is because I feel like this has been a setback with the temperature. It's causing a lot of difficulties in mobility, but that's okay. Like I said, I have my little heater on. I took some Tylenol for the inflammation and the pain, and then other than that, I was able to do the things that I needed to get to do and get done in the tiny studio and in my home office today. Um, how are you doing on this very, very beautiful Tuesday afternoon? Other than that, I am in fairly good spirits. What can I say? I could be complaining, but why would I complain when the universe has blessed me with another day to shine light and positivity and compassion and mercy, along with grace onto other people, other human beings in my life. So there's no need to complain. Everything is as it should be. And one of the things that I have noted about myself, and I don't know if you have ever experienced this, whenever something happens to me that presents a challenge, sometimes I say to myself, why me? Why now? Why is this happening? Is this some type of karma that I'm experiencing from the universe? And those are negative thoughts. Okay? Those are very negative thoughts. So what I have done in place when I feel that type of spirit coming over me, what I have done in its place is say, sometimes things happen and they happen for a reason and for a season. And it is up to me to decide whether or not I am going to seek the gems of the lesson that's being presented to me, or will I dismiss it and revert back to my negative impulses and my negative thoughts. So today I chose to find the lesson and to say to myself that things happen in life. Challenges happen in life that has nothing to do with karma or some past mistake that you may have made. When the incident happened to me, I was enjoying time with my sister friend, catching up with her. And I had just come from a wonderful week-long vacation with my family in Orlando. So, staycation. So everything happened for a reason. When I arrived to the emergency room that day, the doctors told me that my kidneys were failing because of dehydration. I was very much dehydrated, which caused me to lose consciousness and fall that day in the restaurant parking lot. So the lesson is that I was exactly where I needed to be to find out that I was in danger. So knowing that and remembering that changes my entire perspective on the situation that I find myself in right now. I also remember that I am not as youthful as I once was. When we hit a certain age, we really get into our middle ages. Things do not work as well as they used to. The bounce back is not as real as it was. So, in order for me to bounce back, it's going to take time, and that's okay. I need to have that time. So, as long as I am moving around, taking care of my family, being loving and compassionate and merciful and filled with grace, I know that I will be able to overcome this challenge. And what's the lesson in this for me? The lesson in this for me is to take a more closer look at my health. If I begin to feel, or my body, oh, excuse me, if my body is communicating something to me, my best bet is to stop, look, and listen. That is the lesson in this entire episode. And you just heard me sneeze. I'm gonna look a little closer, make sure I don't have any things going on here. But that is the lesson. That's the lesson for me. And that should be the lesson for you as well. If you find yourself going through something, never ask the question or ask the universe the question, why me? The question really should be, what is the lesson that or the lesson that the universe is proposing to me? And what gems of knowledge can I glean from it that I can use in my everyday life? Right? Yes. So I'm opening up some wipes. I didn't see anything, but you never can be too certain. So anyhow, when I woke up this morning, yesterday, you saw me in the tiny studio. But when I woke up this morning, I already knew it was going to be a lounging day. I have on my tiny studio artist dress on because I have bleach on it, paint spots on it, glue spots on it. But and it's clean. It's just that, as you put it through the wash, sometimes those things do not come out. Those type of things don't come out. So, anyhow, like I said, I'm in a tiny studio. I was in a tiny studio yesterday, and I was feeling so good about myself and about what was going on. But even at that moment in time, I knew that the temperature was dropping because I could feel it. So now that we went through, we're supposed to have 2 nights of cold weather, of frost. And so Monday night was the first night. Tonight will be the second night of 2, where the temperature is going to drop below 40 degrees 40 degrees. And I know some of you who live in the Midwest, like my family, my mom, it's been cold pretty much there in the Midwest, in Michigan, Ohio, Chicago for a little while now. I think my mother said there was a little bit of snow. I think that's what she said when I talked to her a couple of days ago. They had like a light dusting of snow. But in Florida, our winter season really does not happen until like January, February, and that's when the temperature begins to drop. However, global climate change, all of those things, you don't have to be a believer. You may say, like 45, soon to be 47 says, oh, it's all a hoax. But if you live in Florida, climate change, global warming, that mess is real. Okay? We just been hit with what? Helene and Milton? Oh my God. I don't know how the coast of Florida, I don't know how they're going to recover. Some of those coastal towns have been literally swept away, you know? So global global warming, climate change, all of that is real. So anyhow, um I say that to say this. We all go through challenges. We all go through certain things in life. And it's really easy to fall into the trap of negativity. It's always very, very easy to go down that super slippery slope into feeling as if, you know, woe is me, my life sucks. Why is this happening to me? You know, it's really easy to do that, but it's difficult to train your mind, to program yourself into being positive, into seeing the golden lining behind an incident. It's really hard to do that, but there is a way to do so. And you have to constantly, constantly tell your brain, tell yourself that you are going to overcome whatever challenge there is happening to you. You will be able to overcome it. Now, there may be some nuances going on. You may be afflicted with some type of life threatening disease. You may have gone through the death of a loved one. Those two things, you should feel the way you feel, and rightly so. However, in the midst of those crazy, crazy life challenges, such as going through, as I did with my husband, he went through breast cancer, stage 3, male breast cancer. Even though we were going through that most difficult time in our family, what was the silver lining in all of that? You want me to tell you? It was, number one, the love that we shared together as a family, as my family pulled together to fight this disease that my husband was battling. We battled it together. Another silver lining is the fact that we became aware of the issue of cancer, especially male breast cancer. We became educated. We became aware of it, more conscientious. Another thing that we learned as my husband was battling cancer, we learned that the silver lining or the gold lining that was we woven throughout this is that we have a community of people who want to help us. The people at the cancer treatment center was really loving. They were really compassionate. They were very helpful and knowledgeable. And so my husband was able to develop a family apart from his biological family, the one that he created. He was able to find them as a helpful resource. Okay. Another thing is our extended family really, really, really brought the love to us. With my sister-in-law visiting us twice with her children, my nieces and my nephews, with all the love and energy and the money that was shown and gifted to us through our GoFundMe, we learned that people that we did not even know, or people that we weren't very close to, we learned how they felt about us. We learned that they really cared about us. And those people, the least person that I would have expected to really, really extend love to our family, did. And I will forever be grateful for that. However, as I said before, that was the silver or the gold lining in this whole tragedy of cancer. What was the lesson? The lesson was, or is, and stands to be, that when you are going through something, that is as terrifying as cancer, life threatening. In fact, there are people who are surrounding you, who want to support you, who hold you dear in their heart, and they want to support you and show that they care. And that love that the universe has put inside of them to motivate them to help you, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Accept it. And that's something that my family and we learned. That was the gold or the silver lining in that tragedy. So like I said, there are things that we can learn through the challenges that we face every day in our lives. We just have to be open and receptive to it. We really do. We have to be open and receptive to it. All right, so I'm going to hop off the line here. This is vlog number 18 of me in the tiny studio. But I'm not in the tiny studio. I keep saying, but I'm not in the tiny studio. Of me coming onto the channel and just, having fun, just talking to you about different things that's going on in my life. I really thought twice about whether or not I wanted to show you guys the real intimate parts of what's going on in my life on my channel, because this is like a very public type forum. But I feel that this is a way for me to chronicle my life. This is a way for other people to perhaps glean something and to be able to pick up some gems that will be able to help them in their life journey. I never wanted to hop on YouTube and really get into my personal life the way that I have within these last couple of weeks or so. Well, this last, year and a half or so, because it wasn't my intention to talk about my husband's cancer. I think I also talked about how my mother-in-law had died from cancer. We had found out she had cancer in like a month before she passed. No, it wasn't even a month. It was like 2 weeks, and then my mother-in-law was gone. And maybe a month after that, we got the diagnosis that my husband, was diagnosed. That's when we got the diagnosis of breast cancer, stage 3, with my husband. And I never really meant to talk about a lot of my personal business and things of that nature. I never meant to do that. It just occurred. It just happened. And of course, with permission from my husband. But I never meant to do that. I never meant for this channel to be about, my personal life. But in a way, it has evolved into that. And I feel comfortable with it. To a point, I do. I feel comfortable with it. When I started this channel, it was going to be about, it's supposed to be about crocheting, my love of Coach bag, vintage Coach bags, and thrifting and other things, and it was for the most part, about those things. But as you go on through life and the journey of life takes you here and there and everywhere, sometimes, reality comes into the tiny studio, and I am okay with allowing realness to happen. Even though I have issues with it per se, but I have issues, like I said, I'm under the weather. I'm lounging in my boudoir, and I don't have on any makeup. I haven't gotten my eyebrows, arched or anything yet. There's some things going on that need to be fixed, but I think that I am changing in my perception of myself. And for some reason, I feel the spirit leading me to just be who I am and to let you see, this side of Nell. You get to see the side of me that, friends and family see every day. you know. Yes, they see the other Nell with glam and all of those things on, but this is the rawness. This is me. This is the person that, my sister friends get when they call me on the phone. This is what they see when they FaceTime me. This is me. And I'm okay with allowing strangers in to see this part of me. It's kind of weird and wacky, and I said in the past I would never do something like this, but maybe my vulnerability will allow you to be vulnerable with the people that you care about. And sometimes being vulnerable to strangers is not a bad thing. Of course, we've learned over the years that vulnerability equals being taken advantage of. Vulnerability equals being used and abused, right? Um, but I'm from Detroit. So, I'm going to be vulnerable, but of course, I am not in the place of being abused and taken advantage of. I'm just not that girl. No, that's not me. So I feel comfortable in being vulnerable. And the reason why I say that, I'm not trying to be, facetious or anything. When I say I'm from Detroit, I can't be misused or abused or taken advantage of, because hey, like I said, I'm from Detroit, so of course some of those things have taken place and happened to me. However, what I mean is that when I say I'm vulnerable and um I'm from the D, and uh I'm not more so susceptible to being, taken advantage of. I mean that in a way is that my antennas are always up. That's how I meant to say that. My antennas are always up, and so I am always the person who is going to analyze a situation 20 million times. That's just me. And so, because I have been placed in situations where I have been at some point victimized, so I am very, very cautious. However, in this sense, when I say I'm being vulnerable to the point to you, my tiny studio guests, and to anyone who's watching, even though I don't know you personally. I'm being vulnerable to you in order to show you that it's okay to express your real feelings on social media and it not be an act. I'm okay with saying that I can express and be my true self on social media without feeling as if people are going to talk about me, are going to say, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. Why don't you have any makeup on? Why don't you have any lip gloss on? Why don't you do this and that and the other? I'm being vulnerable to you to let you know that there are people on social media who are real. And at this point, I'm not in the tiny studio. I'm in my bed. I'm in my bed, okay, with my sleeve on, and a house dress on. That's being real. I have earrings on and whatnot, but I do that every day anyway. And before the hubby gets home, I'm probably gonna splash on some perfume and probably gloss it up a little bit. That's what we wives do. But I want to be vulnerable because I hope that in my vulnerability, you would be able to see the light that shines within it, and that you would be able to glean some information that may be useful to you, And maybe I can be able, in a way, to help you be vulnerable with the people that you love and the people that you care about. How about that? Okay, so here's one more tip. I don't know if this is tip number 5, but I think this is tip number 5 on how to have healthy, long, strong dreadlocks. Okay, keep them covered. Keep your locks covered. That is my last tip on having strong, healthy, long locks. Keep your locks covered. Now I know there comes a time when you want to show your locks off, you want to do things, because I do. I don't always walk around in a sleeve or a scarf. However, anytime I'm at home, it's my downtime. I'm not outside or anything like that. I keep them wrapped up. I keep them in a sleeve. Why? Well, because that is going to prevent a lot of lint or fibers that happens to be in the air, floating in the air, or fibers that you may have on your clothing, on your bedding, on upholstery, any place that there are, there could possibly be fibers or whatnot in the air, because we all wear clothing, right? Those fibers could possibly cause lint, and lint can begin to build up in your locks. That's why it is very important to keep your locks covered. And my locks are covered. I cover my locks for 2 reasons. I cover them for religiosity, for religious reasons, and I also cover them for, the reasons I just stated, and that I do not want lint to become an issue in my locks. And my daughter keeps her locks covered up all the time. The only time she takes her locks out is when she's, getting ready to go to work or something like that. But I believe there's been a few times that she's gone to work with her locks covered. So, for me, it's mostly a thing of lint. I don't like different smells getting into my locks. Like the other night, my daughter was frying some stuffed pork chops, and so I didn't want any of those smells in my locks, and so I had my locks covered. And she did too. And that's one of one of the 5 most important things that you can do to have strong, healthy locks. I believe I've done a video about the importance of keeping your locks covered extensively, and I think it's found on in the Dreadlock Love series archive. So check those out. Check that video out, and because I really get into why you should keep your locks covered, and why it's so important. When I was in the hospital, I didn't have my locks covered at all, and so they were just out in the wild, taking in all the negativity and all of the, the sickness and all of the stuff that happens when you're in the hospital. And so when I got home, I, saged my locks, and I prayed over them, and I anointed them, and then I put them in the sleeve. That happens to do with that part of my journey of being a lock diva, a dreadlock diva, a Locknista queen. That's the spiritual aspects of it. Okay. All right then. Well, I'm going to hop off of here. For real this time. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This is vlog number 18, I think, of Nellsgiving. I'm going to keep going until we get to 30, because there were 30 days in November. So I'm going to keep going until we get to the 30 episode or vlog episodes of Nellsgiving. What you think about that? All right. Oh, I want to tell someone, I think her name was Laura, a Tiny Studio guest. Thank you so much for complimenting me on my weight loss. Yes, it's a lot. Yes, it's a lot. And I think that very soon I'm really going to do a video about my weight loss journey. Okay, so I will see you guys later. I have some things I need to do here in my boudoir, and the hubby is almost on his way home. So, I need to, put a little perfume here, a little perfume here. So when he kissed me, he would be, I would be smelling good, and he'll be enticed. So, am I giving too much information away here? It's a TMI moment. That's tips on how to maintain a strong marriage. Even though you don't necessarily feel, up to being yourself as a woman, there's still little things that you can do to keep the excitement, your part of the excitement, flowing in your marriage. If you would like for me to do a video about that, what, my husband was telling me I should do suggesting that I should do a video about marriage. We've been married for 35 years, and he said it would be a really great thing to do a video about, how did that happen. So, there's a tip for you that I just gave. Got to keep it popping. Got to keep it as live and as you got to keep the excitement going, even when you don't feel up to keeping excitement going. You still want to remind your mate, hey, this is what you signed up for. When you propose marriage to me, this is what you signed up for. I'm going to give you what you want. All right, then I am out of here, and I really am out of here. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe, and do not forget to hit the like button. All right, then I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.